Hello, welcome to the Reach Digital Signage Tutorials. Today we're going to focus on how to utilize Google Fonts. Now, a lot of questions we do get with our clients is that they do have sort of branding requirements, and there are certain fonts that they would like to use. Before what we used to do is we used to log into every single PC and download the font. Sometimes that worked and sometimes it didn't. With people using sort of different players having their own, configuration, it just wasn't a efficient or successful way to get it to work. So we came back and we reworked some things, and we basically can now do Google Fonts. Google Fonts is going to allow you to choose up to over 900 different, fonts to choose from. So what we're going to do today is it does involve just knowing a little bit of HTML and CSS, but that's why we're going to do the tutorial to make it sort of efficient and easy for you to learn. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, every single widget has sort of the style tab. And right here, it just chooses, there's really about 5 fonts that you can pick from. But again, what I'm saying to you is there is really an endless amount. So what we're going to learn is how do we override this particular setting in the style tab. So there's 2 parts to this. The first part is we need to create what we call a style sheet. Now this is kind of going back to sort of an HTML base, and it's okay if you don't know that. Again, we're going to kind of walk through these steps. But basically what a style sheet is that when you call out a font in your widget, the style sheet will see that. And then the style sheet will communicate to Google being like, hey, when I'm running on the player, I need you to sort of look like this. All right, and then the second step is obviously going into each one of these widgets and telling the widget, hey, this is the font I want you to use. All right, so let's focus on step 1, and that's going to be involving the style sheet. So we're going to create what we call custom HTML. So we'll go up here to the top right, and it says New Zone, and it says, what would you like the name to be? I'm just going to put font. You guys can put style sheet, Google font, whatever sort of name you want to label. Then we'll hit next. And then for the size, since this is not going to be visible on our digital signage in any way, I'm just going to make it sort of pretty small. So I'm just going to do 100, 100, and I'm going to hit Submit Close. All right, so here's our particular zone. So now we need to add the widget. And like I said before, we were going to do a custom HTML widget. So I'm going to double click in here. I'm going to go to Add Widget, and then Custom HTML. All right, so now before I do anything, I'll actually just click on the second tab. I'm going to go back to Google Fonts. What's nice is that Google Fonts is going to give me all the information I need. So really, the nice thing is I can just sort of copy and paste. So what I'll do is I'm just going to pick sort of a unique font so you guys can see that, it's changing. So I'll pick this guy down here. So this is the font I want to use. So what I'll do is I'll hit the plus sign. And you can see down below there's a little kind of a drop down. And now all the information I need is right here. So you can see it's starting from the top here. There's a little part that says Style Sheet. This is the part that we want to copy. So if you're using sort of a Windows-based laptop or computer, you can just hit Control-C. Otherwise, you can just do a right-click and hit Copy. And we'll go back to now sort of our digital signage backend. And we're just going to paste it right in. So again, Control-V, or if you right-click, you can just do the paste. All right, so already that's how you do the style sheet. So step 1 is already done. So now we need to tell that particular widget that we want to use this font. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And I'll just tackle the time and date widget right here. So I'm going to double click in. I'm going to go to the Style tab. And I'm going to click this advanced version, okay? The advanced version is very like raw CSS. So what we want to do is we want to delete the CSS that's basically pulling whatever font we had in the beginning. So you can see that I highlighted it, and I'm just going to hit delete. Again, now I'm going to go back to Google Fonts, and I'm going to copy this. So again, Control-C, or if you right-click it, you can just hit the copy. I'll go back into here, and I'm just going to paste it in, Control-V. All right, I'll hit OK. So now when I preview it, we're going to see a completely different font. All right, so as you can see here, here's the different font that we just established. So it's really that easy. So if I wanted to use this font all over, I would do sort of those same steps. I would go into this particular widget, I would click on the Style tab. I would go to my schedule, I'd go to my ticker, and every style tab, I'd hit that advanced version, and I basically just switch out the font. Now, just say I add sort of one more layer to this. What if you say, all right, well, that's great, but I want 2 fonts? All right, so we'll go back to Google Fonts here, and I'm just going to choose another one. So let's just choose this one, the Work Sans. Again, I'm going to do my exact same steps. I'm going to hit the plus sign. And now you can see in the bottom right, it's telling me like, hey, you have 2 families or 2 fonts selected. And now my style sheet is kind of completely different. So what does that mean? It means I need to take this style sheet and basically switch it out, right? So once again, I highlighted it. I'm going to hit Control C to copy it. I'm going to go back now to my font, or again, my custom HTML. Double click in here, double click into the second tab, and paste this guy back in. All right, so again, now if I want to use the second font somewhere, here's all the CSS that I need to know. Control C, again, I'm copying it. And now I can go to a completely different widget. I'm going to go to Style tab, and I'm just going to paste it in here. So there's no need to be an expert on CSS or HTML or anything like that. But now when I go and preview this, you'll see that my weather font is different from my original font. And then this is still Arial. So I would still have to kind of go back and switch that. But that's how you can get Google Fonts to communicate with your layout or your video wall or room scheduler. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to call or email us. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.